Let's go to, I don't know, if there's a listener named Jack, that'd be cool. We are back. Dennis and, I don't know. That's our two listeners, Dennis and Jack. I just made this weird for Dennis and Jack out there. Hey, Dennis and Jack, if you're listening, we're watching you. All right, let's go to Marie in Harrisburg. Hey, Marie, what's going on?
Hi, Dr. John. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Getting there.
Getting there. What's going on?
Yes. I had called in a couple weeks ago regarding my daughter and 16-year-old daughter who was inpatient at the hospital due to a suicide attempt. And we were waiting to find a inpatient facility for her. And you had helped me kind of walk through that and what to look for and who to ask. And
did I screw up?
That helped a lot.
Okay.
No, it helped a lot. It helped a lot. I appreciate
good.
it.
I was hoping you weren't calling me to say like, and you ruined everything. All right, good. Good.
No. She is coming home from the facility tomorrow. So that's exciting, and we're looking forward to having her home. But I know there's a lot of work that we're going to be getting started on. 2 days ago, I received a phone call randomly from a detective. And I think the detective thought that I was expecting the phone call or I was given some kind of a warning, but I wasn't.
Oh, did she disclose abuse?
Yes, she did.
Oh, man.
She told that I wasn't given any details from the detective, just that there was abuse.
Okay.
And then my mommy brain started going, and I called a friend of hers to see if she had ever mentioned anything about it, to try to get some details.
Okay.
And she did tell a friend, and the friend told me that it was her cousin from the time she was about 3 until she was 9.
Okay.
Through very vivid details.
Hold on. Do me a favor. Take a real deep breath and hold it. And let it out. And take one more real deep breath and hold it. And then let it out. Listen, I'm so sorry.
Me too.
I'm so sorry. That's your baby girl, and I'm so sorry.
So,
Before
Dad and I are
hold on.
divorced.
Before we go any further,
okay.
you didn't screw anything up.
Yet.
No. If you murder somebody, yes. Don't do that. Okay. All right. So Dad and you are divorced.
Yes.
Okay.
We've co-parented for the past 10-ish years. No more than that, probably 13 years.
How
and,
good or not good? Mature, immature?
It could be worse, but it could be better.
Okay.
So it's not horrible.
Okay. It's functioning.
We have, yes, open communication.
Okay.
All that jazz is good.
It's like my 2006 truck. It works. It gets me to work. But man, I knew it. But
it's ugly.
Yeah. That was rude, but you're correct.
Yeah.
I may or may not have all of my headlights working. Yes. Okay.
Right. So after I got on the phone with the detective, I immediately called her dad and just gave him the overview that I had. And then after I talked to my daughter's friend, I then called her dad back and explained what more I had been told.
Okay.
The cousin is on the dad's side of the family.
Okay.
Lived with them for a period of time. And Dad is insistent that there's no way this happened and she's lying.
Okay.
I don't think my daughter even knows that we know.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how to handle any of this with her coming home tomorrow. Do I say so? I don't even know what to say to her. I don't know if I start the conversation, if I wait for the conversation. I don't know how to live in the same house with her without having the conversation, though. And then do I prepare her for the conversation with her dad?
Yeah.
I don't know how to do any of this.
Oh, man. Well, number one, thank you for your trust. what a nightmare of a situation for any parent at any time, in any place. Okay, so before there is, number one, the detective called you. So let me just back out. Number one, secrets drown people. So secrets are no good. So yes, we'll have to have conversations. Yes, we'll have to get into this, and ignoring it or just letting her come home and like, oh, just let her bring it up on her own time. Can't do that. Okay. So keep that one, put a pin in that note. Secrets drown people. She's been keeping these secrets for a long, long, long time. The second thing is, when she's discharged from the hospital, there should be some sort of parent meeting with the social worker and with the counselor or psychologist of some sort. Is that happening tomorrow?
We've already had that, and they said nothing.
Okay. The only, how old is she?
16.
Okay. So sometimes in these clinical contexts, they will make agreements with the kids when they're trying to work through trauma with them. The reality is, and I don't know every state, I know the states I've been in and looked at licensure and has been a professor and things like that. When when your child goes to counseling, the parent is technically the client, meaning you have access to all records, all things discussed. You have access to everything. I can't imagine a social worker not disclosing this. That's bonkers to me.
I know in the state of Pennsylvania where I'm located, mental health records are sealed without approval at the age of 14. So I don't think, unless my daughter were to give permission, that they can tell me.
Oh, geez. Okay. So then here's the question. Here's the phone call you make at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Okay.
You call the social worker and say, I have been contacted by a detective. I have talked to my daughter, tell her everything, my daughter's friends.
Okay.
She's coming home. I have active knowledge of a family member who's done these things. And we need to circle up and have that conversation and really put the social worker on the defensive. Now, probably what she will do or he will do, and this is their license, this isn't them being evil, they're doing what their job is and what their licensure requires, is I need to have a conversation with my client and let them know. And my guess is the young girl is ashamed, scared, frightened. That is not a statement on you. That's a statement of a scared child. And my guess is she was asked and said, I don't want to tell anybody anything. And because she's a minor, I think, man, even not even minors anymore, these laws are changing so fast in such really remarkable, honest, awesome ways. But somebody had to report it to the detective, and the detective has different rules than mental health providers. And so they have to contact parents with a minor. All I have to say is it's going to get messy. You're going to have to be a bear of a mom. And bear meaning you got to go to war on behalf of your daughter. And the war here is we all have to be in a room communicating the same language. That's what the goal here is. If the social worker says to counselors, I can't talk about it, then the conversation with your daughter when she gets home is lots of really, if she will, again, this is all pie in the sky, less conversations for the first day or so, but lots of hand holding. Can we just watch a show? Can we watch a movie together? Will you cuddle with me? Will she do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What we're doing is we're looking to establish physical safety first.
Okay.
All right. And that's going to come through high touch, high hugs, hand holds, hugs. Hey, will you sit by me? Whatever her favorite food is. Let's just create a safe place here at home.
Okay.
And if there is a friend, is there another adult she trusts or something? At some point very soon, you'll have to have that conversation. And it will go something like this. I got a call from a detective, and I learned some really troubling, heartbreaking things about how somebody hurt you in the past. And I'm so, so sorry. And I also want to honor the fact that you're not ready to talk to me about it. I want you to know that, and does that make sense? So I don't want you to put her in a position where she goes on the defensive again, because she will. But I also want you to let her know, I know, and when you're ready, I'm ready to have this conversation. And then let her know, in the meantime, and this is the magic, in the meantime, I have to go on the offensive because there's somebody out there that hurt kids. Does that make sense? So it's letting a kid know you can. So what the sexual abuse does is it takes control away from a kid, right? And the worst thing we can do to a kid is to bring him back in a room in an attempt to help them. We take control back from them again. They feel out of control and unrooted again. And I have to make sure that this person who did this never does this again. So when you're ready to talk to me, I am here. I love you. If you have any personal experience with this and you can connect in any way, that this is the moment to be vulnerable. If you haven't, don't lie, right? Don't make something up.
Right.
Here is the second cornerstone to put a pin in. Number one, secrets drown. Number two, you have to believe your daughter.
Yes.
Until you have every
100%.
evidence in front of you, until you're holding something that says she's not telling the truth. And I understand your husband's fear and, oh my gosh, what's this going to do to the family? And I understand that domino. You got to believe your daughter. You got to believe your daughter. And the way we show our kids that we believe them is we call the police. We don't say things like, well, let's just talk about it. And we call the police. And we work openly with the police. We call the school counselor. We call somebody that we're going to work with. We let them know, I'm working on your behalf. Even if their 16-year-old little brain says, I want to keep this quiet. And it's so you hear the delicate balance that I'm saying here. They get to wait to tell their story, but mom's going to work on your behalf because I love you and my job is to keep you safe. I'm your parent.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to let that little scumbag piece of trash that hurts you. I don't call somebody a piece of trash. That wasn't cool. I'm not going to let that happen on my watch anymore. Right? Does that make sense? See that balance? We're in real time with a real human and a real kid right in front of you. This whole thing's going to feel wonky and wobbly. And you may have to go back and say, I should have said it like this, and I'm sorry, and I'm just so glad you're home. There may be some walking it back. All that to say is physical safety, lots of touch, mom's on your side. Hey, and mom knows.
Yeah.
And when you're ready, I'm here.
Okay.
But I'm going to work.
Yeah.
And at the same time, be graceful with your husband. At the same time, say, no, sir. This is our daughter, and we're going to believe it. We're going to ex-husband. Sorry, you call that out quick. X. Good job. I get the fear. It's unacceptable. He's going to believe his daughter.
Yeah.
And if he's not, then he needs to understand that these are ramifications that go through generations. I finally told Dad I wasn't okay, and he believed that guy, not me.
Yeah.
And that's hard and messy and gross and weird and awful, but here we go. Is the detective going to do like a forensic interview with her and go through that process?
Yes, but I have no idea when. When I spoke with the detective, she was just trying to get the jurisdiction of where it was reported that this happened, which was a very odd conversation. We're talking about where it happened. We're not talking. It was a hard conversation.
Yes, it can be surreal. Yes.
But she really didn't give me any information other than you'll be hearing from the police at some point.
Okay.
And I've been waiting for that phone call, and I have no idea when that's coming.
Do yourself a favor and your heart and soul a favor. Be ready for that call, but don't wait for it every second. You're going to make yourself crazy.
Right. When I sit down with my daughter and have a conversation, do I then call the police? If she would want to talk to them, do we call them? Do we just continue to wait to hear from them? Like, I don't know how to handle that.
If she's ready to talk, then you call in everybody. Absolutely, 100%. If she says, I'm ready to talk, my guess is she won't. My guess is she went and had to talk about it a lot and therapy. She's going to be embarrassed that she caused all this stuff. She's going to want to know about the expense of it all. Dad's going to bring up expense. This was really expensive. I hope that he's going to say stuff like that because he's nervous to know what to say. The main thing is reestablishing connection here. If she said, and how do you balance, and this is a hard balance that every parent's got to deal with. How do you balance, I want to teach you and honor you and your autonomy, and I got to do what I got to do because I'm your parent. You know? So she may sit down with the detective and say nothing. Right. I'm not going to talk to you. The story that will remain with her is, Mom called the police. Mom got me help. Right? Okay. And so we want that established. And you can encourage her to talk to the police. You can. But at the end of the day, you can't make her. Or you end up forcing her in some sort of, the arc becomes really hard. And I've seen this happen over and over. You will tell them everything. Well, now suddenly I've taken from you again. And that's the great fear when somebody's been abused, right? Is that they were part of them was stolen. And then we're right back in the same place. So
I talked with a friend the other day, and she put it that this is her story, and I need to let her tell it.
Correct. And she's your daughter, and it's time for Mama to get after it. It's both and. And when either parent plays it on either side, when a parent tries to take over their kid's life and say, you're going to do this, and you're going to do this, you're going to do this, it's a re-traumatization process. Not always, but often. Or when they just take their foot off the brakes and they just say, she's just not ready. She's 16. You know what I mean? Like there's a reason we don't let her buy beer because her brain's not fully formed yet, right? There's a reason we don't let her. So Mom is supposed to advocate. Dad is supposed to go to war. Everybody's supposed to get involved to protect my daughter. And these are the moments, these pivotal moments when maybe the right things aren't said, but the kid, your child will remember, Mom had my back. Mom was there by me. Okay. And let's play the other side of this out. The worst case scenario is this actually happened. That's the worst case scenario. It's also really going to be a mess if let's say she did make all this up. We will get there if we ever get there. But I'm going to default to believing my kid until I know otherwise. Yeah. Even if that means we get to the end and the detective says, I don't have anything that I can prosecute here. I don't have any text messages. I don't have anything, the stories, whatever. She'll know mom had my back. Yeah. And I think it's worth telling your ex-husband, this is a pivotal moment in your daughter's life. When she came to us with something, she reached out, she cried out.
There's been some very colorful conversations. There really has.
I'm sure there have been. I'm sure there have. Yeah. Just remember secrets, remember human connection, and remember believe your daughter. Okay. And if you have another woman that you trust, that your daughter trusts, it may be great to bring her in. So I'm going to leave you with this one really incredible story. My friend, and it's something that I'll do with my kid 100%, and I've encouraged people all over the country to do this. Two of my closest friends in the world, guys named Michael and a guy named Kevin. And then we have another friend who's a doctor. They went camping, and they had kids, and it was one of those. You hear these now. There's no ritual for Western teens to transition from being a child to, like, we're going to start treating you with some responsibility as an adult, right? But we don't have these moments, these markers anymore. So you hear about these things where you take them out and you go on a camping trip or something, or a trip, and you knight them, like with a sword or knighting or something like that. That's all fine, whatever, if that works for you. They did something I've never heard before, and it was remarkable. They took, I think it was they took their sons out, and maybe took out their daughter too. And they were at X age, right? So I'm making this up. Let's say they were turning 15. My friend Kevin sat down and handed Michael's son a card with his name and number on it. And he said, from this point forward, I'm not Mr., and he gave his last name. He said, I'm Kevin. I'm going to start talking to you like this, and you're going to call me Kevin. And here's my promise. In the middle of the night, dads aren't always the right guy to call when you're too drunk to drive home. Dads aren't always respond the best when you get that call from jail, like, hey, well, you can bail me out. So Kevin looked at his best friend's son and said, you call me, and I'll be there. And he said, I will sit on your side of the table when we talk to your dad. It's not we have to have this conversation. You went to jail, right? Or you got arrested or whatever. But I'll sit on your side. And it was twofold. Number one, it was a demonstration to a young person. Here's what friendship looks like, even when you're old. And most importantly, some kids can't talk to their parents. This person's safe. And so if you have a woman, three women who maybe have experience here, have had a history of abuse and are older now and have healed and are still healing, anybody in your life that you trust, that you bring into your daughter's life, and it's almost a passing of a torch. I know that I'm your mom, and I know that I can be loud and bonkers and blah, whatever. She's safe. And I want you to know, if you don't feel like you can talk to me, you can talk to her. And have that. Does that make sense? So you're broadening your daughter's safety circle. You're widening her net. And man, could be a really extraordinary gift for your daughter. Thank you for that call, Marie. Thank you for calling back and updating us all on the situation. I'm heartbroken. I'm glad she's coming home. And I'm glad that she is still with us. I'm glad she is on the road to wellness. And I'm glad that she felt safe enough to talk about this. I'm heartbroken at what she admitted. But now we know. And now the community's going to rally around her, starting with you. She's lucky to have you as her mom. We're with you. Holler back at us in a few weeks. Let us know how things are going. And we'd love to have you back on the show, Marie. Thank you so much.